Alright, looks like we are live. Hello everybody, anybody who's up this late. It is 1 a.m. so I'm going to try and keep it really quiet. My wife and the dogs are both asleep already, and I'm up kind of late. I was watching some Forged in Fire and really kind of got thinking about some traditional knife and sword designs that I really like that are kind of near and dear to me, being of Scottish descent. And I thought, you know, I would like to find a Scottish dirk, and I would love to have a knife like that. But as I was looking through some of them, I thought, actually maybe I would like to design my own Scottish dirk. That could be really cool, kind of a more modern take on the old dirk knife, which is also very similar to the Saxon or Bollock knife. Basically, the dirk is a very large dagger, and it was traditionally employed as a utility blade by the Scottish Army, and back in, not sure exactly on the century, I think we're thinking about 12th century, but the dirk basically was a very long, large dagger, and then the scabbard for it had two additional scabbard slots, smaller on it, that would hold a spoon and fork. And the dirk wasn't necessarily a fighting knife, although it could have definitely been used for that. It was actually a utility knife that they would use for carving and for cutting their food, for preparing food in the field. And then the fork and spoon, obviously, were for eating. That's why they were paired with it. So, really cool knife. The Scots would later end up carrying them in their high socks that they wore with their kilts, and kind of like a boot knife, the earliest probably boot knife, at least that I know of. So anyway, I I just have always loved that design of the dirk, as well as the Skian Dub, which is a similar type of utility knife, but much smaller, of Celtic origin. So uh, anyway, I am going to just do a little drawing on dirk design. So I am actually broadcasting this live on YouTube because I've figured out how to do that, but I have not updated my wallpaper here. So as you can see, it's advertising my Twitch stream, but you won't find this one on Twitch. It's going directly to YouTube. I would love to be able to stream to both at the same time, but I do not know how. So if anybody does know how, please let me know. But yeah, let me see if I can switch over to my drawing screen. There we go. And I think you can see there it is, what, 1:11 in the morning Mountain Time, and I should be going to bed, but I know that now that I've got this idea in my head, if I go to bed right now, I'll be up for another 2 hours just thinking about it. So probably better to just kind of work that out. So we're going to work in Autodesk Sketchbook. I've talked about this in my art streams before. If you have a touchscreen device of any kind, really, and you like to draw, I would highly recommend you download the Sketchbook app. I'm using it on Windows here with my Wacom Cintiq tablet screen. So I really like the tablet screens. Wacom has a lot of great options now, as well as that function built into things like the Microsoft Surface. So you can have a self-contained drawing computer. something I've been thinking about maybe trying to acquire, um, so I don't have to be in my office with this giant screen. The whole thing with the base weighs like 80 pounds. Uh, it's nice. It's enormous. It's nice, but I probably don't need such a big screen. I generally work in the center. I don't make that large of movements. Um, but uh, Speaking of Sketchbook, I just want to let you all know, I've talked about it in the past. They said that Sketchbook was going free, and they removed the sort of pro membership and allowed everybody to have access to all the tools just by having a Sketchbook account, a free account with Autodesk. So really, really cool opportunity for people that way. And then they changed their mind, apparently. In fact, when you open Sketchbook, it still seems to tell you that it is free for everyone, and yet when I logged into it, I only had the ability to have 3 layers. Most of my brushes and tools were missing, and the little GoPro option, if you can see my mouse moving there, GoPro button showed up. So I clicked it, and I didn't get an opportunity to choose a subscription plan. It didn't charge me anything, but now I'm seeing at the top of my screen that I have 71 days left in my trial on my pro subscription. So um, Autodesk, that was awesome when you decided to make it free for everyone and tell everyone you were going to do that. Uh, I think it was worth the money that it cost. It was, I think, about $30 to $40 for a year subscription, and it was definitely worth that. Really great tool for drawing, and to go and make that free, I was blown away that they chose to do that. Um, but making it free and then taking it back was kind of a, forgive me, dick move. Like, um, for one, I don't know that I even got my full purchase because I had bought it before it went free, and uh, I'm not sure that I actually got full use of it. So that's really lame. At least I get my 71 days trial left here, and I'm sure by the time that's done, uh, my original purchase would have been used up and I would be due to buy again. But now they want to charge $10 a month for it, which works out to be 4 times as much as they used to charge, 3 to 4 times as much as it used to cost. But they have not added anything to the app that I've noticed. Tools wise, brushes wise, I don't know what they've plugged into it to increase value. They've only increased the cost, and all of that after telling everyone it would be free. So um, that was super lame, and I'm really disappointed in them for doing that. Anyway, let's get to work and do a little drawing. So when I'm working on a dirk, um, dirk is a very symmetrical dagger, so I've set my canvas size to basically just rotate it to vertical. I'm not really sure what resolution I'm working in. Let's see if we can learn that. 1007 by 1920 pixels. That's kind of an odd resolution. I had actually read that. It's actually like this. Why? I don't know. 1080 is 90 by 1920 is a more standard resolution. Typically what I will do is work in double size, but since we're just doing some sketching, I'm going to just leave it at the lower resolution. That's fine. So the symmetry tool is really cool. You just toggle it on. It puts a little line in so that you can see where you're drawing. It takes a little getting used to. As you can see, we can make that horizontal or vertical. or both, or pie chart type thing. Actually, I do think that's new. Curious what that means. Extend stop strokes. Let's see. Oh, that's interesting. That could be really handy for doing some kind of abstract type stuff. But I don't, actually I do want that. Let's turn that on. Okay, so I'm going to work in a pencil. I'm going to use a gray color just to keep things light. And on an upper layer, and let's just start kind of designing the general feel of this knife. So what we would typically have is a long blade. Let's pull out a ruler. Come up to basically 90 degrees. And I'm going to go just off 90. Let's come on. 89 degrees. It seems like more than 89 to me, but that's okay. So I'll just draw in the blade, the main blade here. Go. The ruler tool, you don't even have to draw directly on it as long as you're close to it. We'll put in the marks for you, which is really handy. And then let's see if I want to use a curve. Yeah, let's do that. Let's find a good curve. Oops. I don't mean to do that. Can I undo that? Nope, I could not. Why? How do I reset that? Is it resetting? Or is it just turning on and on? I don't like that. Maybe snap that into center. Let's turn this up. Okay, well we know we set it to 1080, so let's see if I can just really carefully move that to 540. There we go. Okay, okay. Don't like that. Oh, that's horrible. Put this in the middle. I can't. I guess I can turn that off. Pull this down, turn it back on. Okay. Let's scale that down. And I think I like that curve right there. So, at the tip of the knife, just like that. Let's press out the overdraw there. Go. It's not perfectly lined up. That doesn't matter. Let's not worry about that. Okay. Then the shape. Let's see if I can rotate. Rotate. There we go. Canvas. My blade is not too long, but that's okay. Let's bring out the ruler again. Zero angle. Set our handle width right there. I'm just going to draw it really gently there. Change my angle again. We're going to go to 90 this time. And I'm going to come down a little bit. Now the dirk has traditionally, let's pull up a layer, traditionally it has a shape to its handle that's kind of like a curve in and then sort of a round ball shape, and then a curve out. That's our sort of traditional Scottish dirk shape. Um, but we want to kind of modernize that. That was the idea, and that shape just really isn't ergonomic. I think it had significance of some kind. I don't know the history on it, but a significance of symbolism of some kind, like a ball of knife that symbolized man's endowment, basically. But we're going to do something a little different. So we're just going to try to make sort of a natural handle that come out a little wide here. Still following that kind of idea. Let's see, do I like that? I don't know. Let's think about this one. We should just invert that completely. Hopefully I can erase. Yep. Step, and I'm going to create a new layer. Let's work on a separate layer so that we can keep kind of our little layout guide there. Okay, so really for my handle, let's switch some designs here. I'm going to want kind of a palm swell. Let's kind of just sketch that in like so, to get a good grip in the hand there. And I am going to choose to make this the handle probably not symmetrical. Let's turn that off. Here. So let's see. It's just such a ugly line. I've really lost my skill for drawing smooth lines. I gotta admit, I need to work on that. Let's pull in circle. Sort of a finger choil here, or a finger groove, just to help kind of get a little bit better grip on it. Does that make sense? Not so much. Let's come back. A little bit less. Up there. Maintain that as well. Come out at the bottom a little bit. Turn that off. Let's see, probably the back. I think I like it. Curve down like that. Follow that line. Let's just kind of swoop in here a little bit. Okay. Show a little bit of what we're intending here. As far as depth in that handle, a little bit of depth back where you're really gripping it there. And then we could have a bolster here. Not a bolster, a pin, or I would actually prefer screws, I think. Allen key screws or something, maybe one in the center. Okay. Yeah, let's just erase that. Should turn this off. That button that you see me pushing there, you might be wondering what that is. Maybe you could kind of tell. Sketchbook has a tool which I am finding more and more valuable lately, where it will allow you to what is called steady stroke, and you can kind of adjust the length of the stroke or the length of the follow, and where you're drawing doesn't actually mark. It waits a certain number of pixels after that to start marking, and what you end up with is a way to kind of drag what almost feels like a weighted cursor, and the weighted cursor makes it easy to draw a very smooth line. And I'm finding that very helpful as I've been a little less steady. I don't know if that's because of my arthritis or if that's because of lack of practice. Both, probably. Because I just haven't been drawing as much as I'm used to. Okay. So I think that would make for a really nice dagger handle. I think that could be pretty comfortable in the hand. How do we want to top it off on our modern dirk? Let's see. Usually there would be a little bit of a handguard or a bolster at the top, but on a modern knife we don't really see that as often, and it would add a lot of expense if we ever got these knives made. So just stick with what would be maybe a micarta material or something, and just round it off here. A little bit of a finger guard. A bit of a finger guard there just to make sure you're not slipping on that knife. Let's get here. Let's take that, make that way more transparent so we can see what we're really drawing here on the new layer. Okay. like that. And this area here would be kind of a flat area. This area would be curved over. It wouldn't be totally flat. I wouldn't want it totally flat because that wouldn't be as ergonomic. And then maybe up here tapered in toward the blade. Let's redesign this finger guard just a little bit. You know, second thought, I don't like that. We've got our loop, we don't really need much. Just a lot of wasted material and keeping you further from the cutting edge. So let's just make that a lot less. There we go. Okay. Now we want our actual choil here. I wouldn't have had a choil on the original, but for the purposes of sharpening our more modernized version, I just put a very small choil there. No, let's not make it round. Always round, but considering the sort of style of the knife, let's make it straight. Okay. Just bring in that blade edge. Let's do that again. Since that is the same as the back, turn our mirror back on. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to start disabling the mirror. Because this part I want to be asymmetrical. Let's turn off our symmetry. I don't like the way that went. Go. There. Just flat back. Okay, so what am I doing here? On our modern Dirk, I want to have a long straight cutting edge on the front. I do want that cutting edge on the back as a traditional dagger, um, although if we had this produced, we would probably want to make the backside an option for sharpening, because not all areas allow that. True dagger, double-sided blade, double-edged blade. But the idea here then would be that this would be grind down as a false edge or a real edge as an option, and we'd have a flat on the back here where we could baton if we're working on bushcraft tasks. So I think I rather like that. Let's take that off. Let's put our mirror back on. Let's grab our angle tool. Turn off that under layer. Okay. Let's turn it off too. So there's our sort of modernized Dirk. I think that could be really cool. And then we could make a Kydex sheath for it. And stagger another sheath on top of that with a eating tool, like a spork, one of those camping metal sporks or whatever, survival eating tool of some kind, and maybe a small fire kit or something like that, and have a really nice little camp utility knife you could use to process food, process wood, do some carving. It's pretty large, you know, for carving, but it's possible, at least for some sort of large tasks. And of course, with Kydex, you could easily snap on a smaller blade, I suppose, if you want a companion blade for fine cutting work. But I think that would be a really cool knife design. I wonder if I could get that made and what it would cost. That would be cool. We've got it drawn out here. I wonder if I can render some of this a little bit better. Let's pull our layers together. Up one. And move this layer on top of it. And let's create a color layer. So this layer we'll call multiply. Multiply layer means that anything on this layer will show through and darken onto the layer below. So if I was to draw with white on this layer, there would be no effect at all. And the darker my layer I draw, the more it would show through. What that's going to allow me to do is just basically paint underneath the artwork and still have the line show over it. So let's make that brush much bigger. And here you can see that in action. So get into all of my, well, actually, I do, because that is just a horrible color to use. Let's not use this color editor. Let's pull up this Copic library, which pulled up on my other screen. Over here, grab a cool gray color. Much better for a knife blade. And so obviously here I am roughing it in, and then I'll just go ahead and clean up that edge. Okay, let's move that canvas down. Let's grab a base color for wood. Oops. Oh no, what did I push? Pushed a button. Oh no. There we go. Got it turned off. You probably couldn't see it, but I pushed a button on the side of my tablet that wanted to turn on precision mode. Send me sounds probably. Let's do the 47. Okay. Oops. Screw that up. Let's go back to C4. Working with such a large brush. Oops. Selected the right one. There we go. And most of the dirks that I've seen have had a very dark black or nearly black handle. I don't know if there's a reason for that. If it's the material that they were traditionally made out of that makes them so dark, or if it's just tradition to match a color from somewhere else. I don't know. But we're going to make ours brown. Up a layer. Color there. And where's my tool? I think that's the one. We're just going to start blurring that in. Let's use this one too. I don't like that at all. Let's try it again. Usually what I actually do is I'll take a pencil and I'll just do some basic scribbling. then hit it with the blur tool. And we get a really nice smooth blend of that sort of lighter color in there. And then you can just kind of keep doing that over and over again to kind of get your point across, get it a little more enhanced, but we're just kind of adding just a small amount of depth. So let's put that little gray in there. Let's grab a dark gray. Right there at that plunge, I'm going to have a lot more of that sort of gray action. Grab that blur tool. There we go. Just so you can kind of see that that's kind of carved in there as an edge. And then maybe I'll take the ruler out again. Grab this. Let's take this really light color. Just inside. Angle tool. So we're kind of showing our edge there. Yeah, just enhancing some of that contrast. On the plunge. Okay. Over. Side, go back to the pencil. Draw our edge. And I should have turned on that symmetry tool when I was working on this tip. That's okay. There we go. Good enough. Good enough to get the idea. And let's come down to our background there. And let's set that nice olive. Why not? Okay. It's just a little better now that we've got some contrast on the background. And this is still just kind of meant as a sketch, just a rough idea. But I think I really like that. I really like that a lot. So there we go. Got a kind of a modern Dirk. And that covers it. It's pretty much 2 in the morning. I really ought to go to bed. So, yeah, that's it. If you enjoyed watching this, uh, thank you for spending some time with me. And please do, hit the thumbs up for me, and feel free to share the video if you like, and subscribe to the channel for more content like this, as well as if you browse around to see I do a lot of other things on the channel. But the artwork side of it is definitely still a big part of things for me that I'll be continuing to do and talk about. So I don't think we got anybody in the live chat tonight. Looks like it was somebody watched at least for some amount of time. So that's cool. I'm reading this properly. So thank you for watching and for being kind of a part of things here. So I'm Uncle Mike 5012, and you can follow me if you see there on the splash screen as Uncle Mike 5012 here on YouTube. Also, I'm on Instagram, although I don't typically post a lot of artwork there. And then I'm on Facebook, and for now the Facebook page is still called 5012 Design. No spaces there. But I am thinking about possibly rebranding everything under, rebranding everything under the Uncle Mike 5012 name. So if you do like the artwork, also you can see some more artwork on the Facebook page, 5012 Design, or on my website, although it's pretty well outdated at this point, 5012design.com. And you can see a little bit of other artwork that I've done, character designs, a little bit of 3D stuff that I've worked on, stuff like that. So thanks for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful evening or morning wherever you are. And again, it is 2 in the morning here, and my wife's asleep, my dogs are asleep, so I do tend to be kind of a mellow Bob Ross type artist when I'm working. I don't know if that's from watching too much Bob Ross when I was younger, or that's just my personality, but I'm especially Bob Ross. trying to keep things really quiet here at 2 in the morning. So uh, you will find, if you stick around and watch some of my other videos during the day, that I can be a little bit more lively at least. But I don't want to wake them up. My wife's got to work in the morning. So again, thanks for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed this. And if I do ever end up getting a modern Dirk designed and made, uh, I'll let you know. So stay tuned. Have a great night.